Good afternoon, everyone. I am Representative Drew Stokesbary. I'm also the House Republican leader and wanted to update you all that the second initiative to the legislature this year has just been certified by the Secretary of State. This is Initiative 2117 that would repeal the Climate Commitment Act. As many of you know, the Climate Commitment Act is responsible for Washington's gas prices being 50 cents to $1 more expensive than gas prices in every other state. Despite Governor Inslee insisting it would only be pennies, it was actually much closer to $1 than a penny. It's also why Washington's gas prices were the highest in the country at different points of 2023. So this initiative was certified to the legislature, which means it now works sort of like any other bill in that it gets introduced to the House and referred to a committee, and from that point the committee can consider it and move it forward. Well, as some of you know, Article 2, Section 1A of the state constitution requires that these initiatives to the legislature shall take precedence over all other measures. And so House Republicans believe that language has to mean something. And so our proposal is to say that the committee that these initiatives get referred to should hold hearings, should hold public hearings to allow the public and the 400,000 Washingtonians who signed these initiatives the opportunity to talk about why they signed the initiative and the effect that the bill, the CCA in this case, is having on their families and on their communities. So from the House floor, we made a motion this morning that would have instructed the Energy and Environment Committee, to which this initiative is being referred, to hold a hearing. It is not something that we normally do. Most of the time when a bill gets introduced, it goes to a committee, and that committee decides whether or not to hold a hearing. But in this case, we feel that these initiatives, as required by the Constitution, should have a heightened degree of precedence. That's exactly what the Constitution says. So we made a motion to require that a hearing be held. Every single House Republican voted yes for that motion. Unfortunately, every single House Democrat voted against that motion. So today we will not be instructing the Energy and Environment Committee to hold a public hearing, and I think it's very unfortunate that we are not ensuring that the 400,000 Washingtonians who signed the initiative have an opportunity to discuss it more at a hearing, and we think it's unfortunate that the House seems to be ignoring this clear constitutional mandate that these initiatives shall take precedence. But the initiative fight will continue. There are 4 more that have been provisionally certified that could be certified by the Secretary of State soon, and the 2 that have been certified as well. So House Republicans are down here fighting for these common sense changes. And speaking of common sense, I will turn it over to my friend Jim Walsh.
Hi, everyone. I'm State Representative Jim Walsh. I am the author and sponsor of Initiative 2117 that would repeal the disastrous Climate Commitment Act cap and trade tax scheme. This bad policy is hurting working families and just regular people all around Washington. And there's been a lot of talk about how it's not that bad and how it could be fixed in small increments. It's my belief that the best way to handle this mistake is to repeal it and start over again. If we want to have a conversation about protecting the environment, protecting the climate, doing something about climate change, let's talk about policy that actually reduces carbon outputs. This tax scheme doesn't actually reduce carbon outputs. It just makes carbon more expensive, pollution more expensive. The amount of it hasn't gone down yet. This is a bad public policy that hurts people, and it's urgent that we repeal it. Now, our motion today would have really required a committee hearing on this, and as Drew said, it would have allowed the public to speak to this issue. We want the people's voice heard. And if the current majority here in Olympia is not going to let the people speak on the damage that this CCA is doing to the people of Washington, they're missing an opportunity to stand with the people and really serve the people as they're supposed to. Drew said it, the Constitution clearly says that these initiatives are supposed to take a precedence over other business. Well, at the moment, the majority here isn't recognizing that duty. Now, ultimately, if the majority here plays a time game, runs the clock out, doesn't act, 2117 goes to you, the people, to vote on this November. So we do have a fail-safe. We do have a good solution in the end. But it would be great if we could have a public hearing here. It would be great if this legislature would stand with the people now and do something about this bad policy. We're going to keep pressing for that. And we'll use every motion, every maneuver we can to try to get the public heard. But we're swimming upstream at the moment here in Olympia. But we don't mind that. We're going to keep swimming. Anyway, that's the state of play right now. We've had 2 of these initiatives that have been officially certified, 2113 that restores police pursuits, and now 2117 that fixes this mess of a cap and trade tax scheme, and there's more to come. Drew.
Yeah, exactly right, Jim. More to come, but in the meantime, these 2 initiatives are before the legislature. While there is not yet a public hearing scheduled, and perhaps if the majority gets their way, won't ever be, but that doesn't mean that the public can't comment on these. You can write your legislator or all legislators and let them know that you support these initiatives and wish that a hearing were held. And there are going to be more opportunities on the floor to make other kinds of motions to continue to draw attention to these ideas that will go a long way towards enacting change in Washington and fixing what's broken.